Good morning. I hope that your Wednesday is off to a good start. Mine is so far, and of course it's still too chilly to be in the outdoor office, but still a second cup of coffee. This is a Battleship North Carolina mug. Yes, I am a nut for all the ships. And this upcoming Sunday, the lectionary Old Testament reading is from Micah 6. It's Micah 6, 1 through 8. And in particular, Micah 6, 8 is one of those Old Testament verses that you really should memorize. There are some Old Testament verses that you just need to memorize. You just need to know it. I'm going to read that passage, and then we'll delve into it. What does it mean for us? Hear what the Lord says. Arise, plead your case before the mountains, and let the hills hear your voice. Hear, you mountains, the indictment of the Lord, and you enduring foundations of the earth. For the Lord has indictments against his people, and he will contend with Israel. O my people, what have I done to you? How have I wearied you? Answer me. For I brought you up from the land of Egypt, and redeemed you from the house of slavery, and I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. O my people, remember what Balak, king of Moab, devised, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him, and what happened to Shittim and Gilgal, that you may know the righteous acts of the Lord. With what shall we come before the Lord, and bow myself before God on high? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams and 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has told you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. That is, of course, the last verse is the headline. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. And that verse says a lot. And really, one of the things that I say a lot, and I think is true, people talk about wanting to know what the will of God is. What is the will of God for my life? And a lot of times we think about the will of God in terms of what career path to follow, what house to buy, or even what car to buy. What is God's will for my life? The big picture, what is God's will for my life? This verse says it. God's will for my life and your life is this. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. That's God's will for our lives. That sums it up. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. But we need to broaden it. Look at the whole picture. When you read this passage and you really think about what's going on here, it sounds like a legal proceeding, and in essence it is. These verses, this passage is what you might call, what is called in the trade a covenant lawsuit. There's the covenant between God and his people, and the people have broken the covenant, and you have here almost like courtroom proceedings. Micah is the prosecuting attorney. The jury are the mountains and really all of creation. Micah, the prosecutor, God has charged the people. mountains, and all of creation are the jury. And the charge is faithlessness. The people have forgotten God, and you really hear that, how have I wearied you? It's like the people have just gotten tired of God. They've forgotten him. Micah the prosecutor recalls the blessings of God, all that God had done for him. And then comes a response from the people. What more do you want? We gave you burnt offerings and calves a year old. Do you want thousands of rams? Do you want 10,000 rivers of oil? What about child sacrifice? We'll offer our firstborn. What do you want? And then Micah sums it up. In essence, he says, come on, you know better than that. You're offering distractions. You already know what the Lord wants. He has told you, O man, what is good and what does the Lord require of you. But to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. This is one of several what are called justice passages in the Old Testament. A couple of more that that really come to mind. One in Isaiah, first chapter of Isaiah, portions of 17 and 18. Cease to do evil, learn to do good. Seek justice, correct oppression. Defend the fatherless, plead the widow's cause. Also from Amos 5:15, hate evil, love good, establish justice in the gate. And there are a couple of other really well-known, like what we might call justice passages. What does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Let's unpack that just a little bit. Do justice. Justice, the Hebrew word there is mishpat. It's mishpat. And it is a broad word. Mishpat in some settings just refers to judgment. As in God saying, don't make me come down there. But it also implies fairness and equity. So in some cases, it's just judgment. It can refer to justice in terms of a courtroom, but it is also what is equitable and what is fair. So, mishpat, do justice. Seek what is fair and equitable. In how you deal with other people, always seek what is fair and what is equitable. By the way, this term mishpat appeared an awful lot with the Hebrew word for righteousness, tzedakah. Mishpat is justice. And it's a broad, expansive term. Everything from judgment, courtroom justice, to what is equitable. When you are dealing with other people in any arena of life, and do what's fair, what is equitable for everybody. And mercy. In this, some translations render it as kindness, and they are equally valid. The root Hebrew word behind this, whether you translate it as kindness or mercy, is hesed. And hesed it's covenant faithfulness. It's covenant love. You might translate it as loving kindness, mercy, kindness. All of those work. Seek justice. Do justice. In your interactions with anybody else. What is fair? What is fair? What is equitable? What is best for all concerned? Kindness. Mercy. And I think of the mercy of God, the kindness of God that comes from his covenants with us. And humbly with your God. God is not impressed with our pride and our arrogance. We all know well what happens to pride, from the Proverbs, pride goeth before a fall. God is not impressed with arrogance or pride. Walk humbly with your God. This is a passage that reminds us that who we are Monday through Saturday defines us as human beings more than what we say on Sunday. What we say on Sunday doesn't matter a whole lot if we don't do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our Maker. We can have all of the words on Sunday, but they are just words, and they are hollow and empty words if we don't do the basics. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. This passage is one where, as we might put it, the rubber hits the road, so to speak. And in the current climate that is so confused and so divided as we are, we have this gold standard. Seek justice, love mercy. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. This is the gold standard, and it always has been, and it always will be. Seek justice, love mercy. Be humble before your Maker. When you're talking with somebody else in any arena, and before you press send on an email or click post on a Facebook post, think about that. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your Maker. If you fail at these, then all that you may say on Sunday is just that, empty words. And something I was reading this week said that organizations and churches, or even individual people, will periodically do what's called a Micah 6:8 audit, where they look in the mirror, they examine themselves, whether it's a church, an organization, or an individual. Take a look in the mirror, they'll examine themselves with these three things. Are we seeking justice, loving kindness or mercy, and being humble before our God? That's not a bad idea. Seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. With that, have a great rest of your Wednesday.